screen. So thank you very much for that introduction. I'll quickly give a small intro about me as well. This won't take long. So I'm Rumesh Sujatunga. I started off my career as a web developer, graphics designer, software engineer about 16 years ago. Then moved into business analysis, project management, program management, and then finally I became the chief innovation officer of an IT company called Zyzy Limited. So I've worked 12 plus years as a consultant and delivery manager, and then 3 plus years of experience at the C level. 7 plus years of experience as a lecturer and trainer. So like what was mentioned, I've been lecturing since 2014 at multiple private universities. Even though I come from a IT background, I'm actually teaching doctors and nurses as well. Doctors and nurses on management subjects. So it's not just IT project management, agile project management that I'm teaching. I'm actually teaching some other management subjects as well. So I'm actually the agile coach at Wiley Global Technologies. So I'm a agile coach by profession as well as by passion. Plus I started my own company 2.5 years ago. So Aptra Holdings Private Limited is a transformation consulting company specializing in training, consulting, and coaching, training targeting professional certifications related to agile, scaled agile, business analysis, management 3.0. And then I do consulting services on setting up a BA practice in a company, setting up the project management office in a company, and then doing project management related audits, helping teams that require business analysis or project management services, and then ideation services related to product management, things like that. So I'm currently doing some work for Dialog Ghaziata as well as an external agile consultant. So this is what I love to do. I love to enable change within individuals as well as organizations and helping them transform through these practices. So I'm a trainer, consultant, and coach. I've been involved in doing some community work as well. So I'm the past president of the IIBA Sri Lanka chapter. IIBA stands for International Institute of Business Analysis. So I'm the past president of the chapter. I think I'm the only person in Sri Lanka that is teaching IIBA business analysis, BCS business analysis, and PMI PBA, PMI business analysis certifications. And in addition to that, some more, like I said, and then multiple universities I go and teach. So if you all have any questions, if you all would want to keep in touch with me for any career guidance or anything related to your work or anything to do with your studies, you all can reach out to me. The contact details are there. So before we look at what we are going to see today, I'd actually like to ask you all a question. So I'll put this on the chat. I'll put a link on the chat. So this is what I want you all to answer. Let me paste this over here. Yeah, so everyone can just go to this link. I'm asking you all a simple question. Assume that you all are going on a trip. I know that with the current situation, we can't go out, we can't go on a trip, but let's at least go in our minds. Let's enjoy that moment. Let's go somewhere in our mind. So assume that you all are planning a trip. You all are planning to go on a trip. So what would you focus on if you all are planning to go on a trip, right? When you click on the link that I gave you, it will show you all a screen with 5 text boxes. You can write 5 things, what you all focus on, right? I'll give you all maybe 1 minute. Think of the things that you are focusing on when going on a trip. It can be about the location. It can be about transport. It can be about timing. It can be about the budget. It can be anything, right? So think and then just put down some ideas. So I'll open up the presentation mode. You all can add some ideas. Okay, so I see some ideas coming in. Time, environment, transport, food and beverages, location, amenities available, value for money, people, budget. Okay, keep it coming. You don't need to look at what the others have written. You can write your own idea. Yeah, so very good. I see adventure, time duration, food. Yeah, so keep on adding ideas. People whom we travel with. Okay, so that's interesting. Everyone, a lot of you are interested in the location. I see that. And then transport. Whatever that you all focus on the most are actually highlighted in big font, right? So I see people are really conscious about budget, location, transport, food, the date, the people who are going on the trip, and so on, right? So why I wanted you all to do this particular activity is because of this, right? Even when we are planning to go on a trip, it can be planning to go on a trip, or it can be anything. It can be anything that we are going to do. The first thing that we will do is we will create a list of things that we need to do or things that we need to focus on, right? This is the same thing that we will do when it comes to software development as well. We need to know where we are going and what we are going to do, right? Only if we do that, can we manage that properly. Our main objective is to make sure that the trip that we are planning is a success, right? We don't want to end up going on a trip where everyone finally ends up scolding the organizers, or finally ends up having a place to sleep, but that place is really bad. We don't want to go on trips like that, right? So we want to plan on what we are going to do, what sort of activities we are going to do, where we are going, where we are traveling, what we are going to eat, and so on, so that we can enjoy, so that we can actually say that the trip that we planned was successful, right? Now, this is the same thing that will happen in terms of project management as well, in terms of IT project management or any type of project management. So my focus for today would be this. I'll give you all a brief idea about what do we mean by a project, a program, and a portfolio. How can we scale up a project into a program as well as to a portfolio? I'll tell you all what project management is. I'll show you all with an example what we mean by project management. Then we'll look at certain approaches to manage projects. This is also important in today's world. Project management as a practice is also improving and changing, right? So there are different ways in which we can manage a project. So let's look at that as well. We'll also look at the role of a project manager. What does a project manager actually need to do? And then I think this is the most important thing that you all also would be looking at. What are the career options available, right? What are the options available? What do I need to know? What do I need to do? And how can I grow up in a career in project management, right? So if you all have any questions while I'm presenting, if you all have any questions, please do put them on the chat. Or if you all are okay, just speak up. Whenever I give a logical break, or whenever I say, okay, if you all have any questions, please ask. Please do that, right? So I would gladly answer any questions that you all have. Right. So let's look at a small story. I'm trying to show you all what project management is, what a project is. I'll explain that using a story. So assume that there's a chief executive officer of a company, let's say Mr. Pereira, right? So Mr. Pereira all of a sudden comes and says, so he's the CEO, the owner or the top level person of the company. So he comes and says, okay, now this might be at a board meeting or a senior management meeting. So he's saying, we are doing really great as a company. We have grown to have 85 employees, and our plan is to expand to a new location and have 150 employees working here by the end of this year. So the CEO is ambitious. CEO is saying, okay, we already have 85 employees. I want to grow it to 150 employees. I don't want to be limited to Colombo. I want to open up an office in Kandy also. And I want people working there as well, right? And but the CEO is saying this as well. We now need a quick turnaround in terms of evaluating and hiring candidates. So the CEO says, yes, we need to grow, but we need to do it really quickly. We need to make sure that we can evaluate the candidates quickly and we can hire the candidates quickly. And the CEO is saying, okay, I'm happy to invest 5 million rupees for a solution for this. CEO is seeing a problem. CEO is saying, at the moment, our hiring process is not good. We need a system. We need a system that will help us to quickly hire the employees that we need. We need an IT solution. And the CEO is happy to invest 5 million rupees for that. Right? Okay, now the HR head, human resources division head, Mr. Piris comes and says, so that's a really awesome idea. I think we should come up with a recruitment platform. Right? Let's talk to the IT team and get it done. So the HR head knows we have a IT team, or we have a software vendor team. There's another company doing software development for us. We can talk to them and we can get this thing done. We can tell them that we need it in 6 months, right? So the CEO has said that we have 5 million rupees to build a solution, and the HR head is saying, I understand what you're saying. We need to get this done within the year. We are already in June. Let's tell them that we need it in 6 months, right? And I can get my team of HR executives to tell them what we need. So Mr. Piris is saying, I can get my HR executives to give the IT team or the software vendor team the requirements, right? So this is the scenario. Typically, what happens in organizations, it can be a bank, it can be a telco company like Dialog or Mobitel, it can be an insurance company, it can even be a small restaurant, right? It can be any company, private sector, public sector, any company. There would be certain needs that are created, needs that might come from the top management. I'm giving an example of a need that is coming from the top management, but not always. It can even come from the HR head itself. It can come from the outside world, right? For example, let's take a manufacturing company. There might be something happening with the competitors. The competitors have come up with a new IT platform to be able to communicate with all their suppliers and all. Now we need to compete with them. So requirements for IT systems can come from any source. This will result in a certain need for managing this whole thing, right? Now the HR executives come forward and say, okay, we need to be able to manage job roles. We need to be able to create job descriptions. We need to be able to manage candidates. We need to be able to screen them. We need to be able to schedule interviews for them. We need to call them for interviews. We need to record the interview results, right? Then finally, we need to give them a job offer. All these things need to be done through the system. Now, the HR executive is telling everything that needs to be done through the system, right? Basically, HR executives are giving the requirements. Now, the IT team and the project manager, I'll talk about this person called the project manager. There's a team that is going to do this. Now they say, okay, this is really good. Let's set up a project. We need to do it in a proper manner. We need to do it in an organized manner. Let's plan what we are going to do. Then we'll execute it, or we'll do the work. we'll use Java or .NET or whatever. We'll look at all these requirements, functionality, and we'll do it. So let's plan what we need to do. First of all, let's plan what we need to do. Then we'll do it. We'll develop the code. We'll test the software. We'll control it. We need to make sure that we are on track. We need to make sure that our stakeholders' requirements are met. We need to make sure that our CEO is happy. So let's control it and we'll deliver it. Let's do it in a proper, organized manner. Right? So this is typically what happens. IT teams, even though we are working on software features or functionality, the requirements can come from some senior person or from another stakeholder, or it can even be because of certain rules or regulations that are telling us, okay, you all need to do this change. Now what will happen is the IT team decides that, okay, we need to do it, but we need to do it in a proper, organized manner. For that, teams create projects, right? I'm not going into other details of how to start up a project and so on. So those are some additional things, but I want to tell you all what a project actually is. So this is a definition from the PMBOK guide, Project Management Body of Knowledge. There's an organization called PMI, Project Management Institute. If you are interested, you all can go to www.pmi.org. www.pmi.org. That's the governing body for project managers, right? So what they are saying in their body of knowledge or in their textbook is a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, product, service, or a result. So this should be product. Sorry about that. So let me do that change itself. Otherwise, you all will get confused. Right. So this is the correct definition. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or a result. Right. What does this mean? Let's look at some keywords. What do we mean by temporary? Right. So it says project is a temporary endeavor. Why we call a project as temporary is because there's a definite start date and an end date. It should have a start date and an end date. A project can't be going on forever. Right now, even in your university, even when you are doing your group projects or individual projects, you all will be told you all need to submit your proposal by this date, and you all need to complete the project within 3 months. That's your deadline. That's the end date. Right? Project can't go on forever. Project needs to have a definite start date and an end date. So look at this example. The start date for the HR recruitment system project is 15th of June. And we need to end it by the 30th of November 2021. Right? This is the plan. This is what we are planning to do. This is what we are planning to go ahead with. Now, this is applicable even for a IT project, even for a software development project, or even for anything else. Right? Now, just think about a project to renovate Sugatadasa Stadium. A project to renovate Sugatadasa Stadium, right? I'll break it down a little bit and say the project to renovate the swimming pool of Sugatadasa Stadium, right? Renovating the whole Sugatadasa Stadium is a really big thing, so we don't want to do it at once. We are saying we'll only renovate the pool first of all. But that also needs to be done in a planned manner. It needs to have a start date and an end date. We will start the renovation of the pool on the 1st of August and finish it by the 31st of December. That's why we say that the project is temporary. Not because of any other reason, only because there's a start date and an end date. So it's a temporary endeavor. Endeavor means it's a set of tasks. It's a journey that we are taking to create a unique product, service, or a result. It's unique. Now, what do we mean by unique? In order to do a project, we use unique resources. Now, what does that mean? the CEO in our example said, okay, you guys need to create a HR recruitment system, but I will give you all 5 million rupees only. I will give you all 5 million rupees only. You all decide, you all talk to the IT team and ask them how many software engineers they need to create the software. Ask them how many QA engineers they need. Ask them how many hours they need to spend. How many hours do they need to spend, right? Ask them what sort of equipment or resources do they need. Do they need to take some server space? Do they need to take new laptops? Do they need to set up a new working environment? Ask them everything that they need, but the budget that I'm giving is 5 million rupees, right? So in once to create the HR recruitment system, the company will use a set of unique resources. Once part of the 5 million is spent to pay the salaries of the employees, you can't recover it. If you pay 5 lakhs out of the 5 million rupees on salary, that money is gone, right? If you spend another 10 lakhs to buy equipment, the laptops and everything, that 1 million rupees or 10 lakhs is gone, right? So once you spend your resources, you can't recover it. It's done. You can only use it once. That's why we say that a project is unique, as well as the product that we are creating is unique. The amount of time and the resources and the money and everything that we spend is to create this HR recruitment system, not to create another system like a finance system. No, we are allocating our resources, our software engineers and the QA engineers to create the HR recruitment system, right? So that's why we say that the product is unique, or it can even be a service, it can be a result. Now, what does this mean? If you take unique product, HR recruitment system is a software product, right? HR recruitment system is a software product, but we can execute projects, or we can do a project even to create a service. For example, let's say in a bank. Now, most of the time for IT companies, creating a service might not be applicable, but if you take a bank, or if you take another company like a restaurant, maybe, if you organize to do something, and create a service for the customers, maybe a new loan service, maybe a new loan facility, or a new saving facility, then what will happen is, again, we are creating a unique service to our customers. We are saying, okay, through this project that we are carrying out, we are giving you all a new loan facility that you all can make use of, the customers can make use of. It can even be a result. Now, what does this mean? Now, in a company, we don't always need to create a software product, right? Again, it can even be a change in the layout of the company. For example, the seating, how the seats in the company is placed can be changed. We can do a process change in the process, or change in the layout of the company. That's a result that we are trying to achieve, and that result can be achieved even as a project, right? Now, if I give a practical example, just look at this example, and I'll give that Sugathadasa Stadium example as well. So HR recruitment system for the company is a specific product, right? So like I said, HR recruitment system is for this particular company, and it is satisfying specific requirements of the HR executives. It's what the HR executives wanted that we are creating through this software product, right? To create this, software developers, QA engineers spend time creating the solution, using the money that the CEO gave, and then using a limited amount of tools and other resources available. That is why we are saying this project is unique, right? Now, if I give the swimming pool example, Sugathadasa Stadium swimming pool example, once you go and fix the tiles in that swimming pool, let's say we bought new tiles and we removed the old tiles and went and laid the new tiles in that swimming pool. Once we have laid it and once we have fixed it, it's fixed, right? And once we fix all the tiles, the swimming pool is done. So it's a unique swimming pool that we are building with those unique set of tiles. Yes, we can remove it and put it into another swimming pool. That's a different story. But why we use those tiles is because we wanted to create this unique swimming pool. So I'll from time to time check the chat as well. What are the things we should consider before apply for a remote web developer job? How to check whether remote jobs are secured and authenticated? Okay, I think this is a different question. Maybe I'll answer that later. If you all have any questions related to projects and project management, please do ask them. But I'll try to answer any other questions that you all have as well. I'll move forward. So what do we actually mean by project management? We saw what a project is. Now we need to see what project management is. So project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. Now, what does that mean? Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques. Not everyone can do project management. For that also, you need to learn, right? You need to learn, you need to acquire the skills, you need to learn about the tools that are available. You need to learn how to manage people. You need to learn how to lead the team, right? So there are certain activities and characteristics, activities that the project manager should be able to do, as well as there are certain characteristics that a good project manager should have. I'll explain those a little bit more in an upcoming slide when I talk about the responsibilities of a project manager. So this is accomplished through the appropriate application and integration of project management processes and knowledge areas. This is what I said. You can't do project management without knowing what you're doing. Project managers need to be able to manage the limited resources that are available. We only have a limited budget. The CEO gave only 5 million budget. We need to do proper cost management. Cost efficiency, looking at the cost efficiency of everything that we are spending for is important, right? Money is limited. We can't go and ask the CEO for additional money. The CEO will say, no, I won't give you. Do whatever you can with the resources that you have, right? So the project manager should be able to manage the money that is given. The project manager should be able to manage the time that is available. We are given only 6 months. Within that 6-month time period, we need to be able to do it. The project manager should be able to satisfy all the customers' requirements. Now, the HR executives wanted a lot of things to be done. They wanted a lot of features. We call it scope of the project. So the project manager should be able to help define the scope as well as manage that scope. The project manager should be able to manage the vendors. Now, if we need another party to do the development, another software development team maybe to do the development, we need to be able to manage them, sign the contracts with them, and manage that contract, right? The project manager should be able to manage the people who are working in that project. Now, as we know, when we are working with people, they have a lot of problems, right? They have a lot of questions. Especially if you take us also, we are working from home, right? There are problems with the internet, problems with the facilities that are available, problems with what we have at home, the environment that we have at home, problems with the tools and laptops that are available. Now, the project manager should be able to help the team members. Look at what is needed by the team members. If the team members ask for additional resources or help with the resources, the project manager should be able to solve that problem or coordinate and help the people, right? So lots of knowledge and knowledge about activities to be done by a project manager, processes to be done, followed by a project manager, as well as certain tools and techniques to be used by a project manager is important. If the project manager is knowledgeable, it will help the organization execute the projects better, right? So that is what we want. That is why we need project management. Now let's look at who a project manager is. Who is a project manager? So this is the most important position in a project, right? Now I'll talk about the different variations of project managers also, but anyway, project manager is an important person for the project. Project manager has the overall accountability for the success of the project. Project manager needs to make sure that the project objectives are met, right? Now the HR head, who is the sponsor, who is giving money and the time, will come and ask the project manager, guys, I told you all that I'm giving you all 5 million rupees and 6 months. What is the progress? I wanted these features. My HR executives wanted these features. Are you all able to do this? Are you all able to deliver this to us? So the project manager is answerable. Project manager should be able to tell the sponsor, yes, we are on track. We are working on these tasks. We are at this stage at the moment. So the project manager does this. A project manager is allocated at the start of the project itself. Project manager is the first person that gets allocated to the project through something called a project charter. There's a document called a project charter or a statement of work, SOW, that is created. It is like the proposal that you create. Now in your studies also, you all will be asked to create a project proposal. It is something like that. When we create a project proposal only, a project manager will get allocated, right? So the project manager with that proposal or with that statement of work will initiate or start the project. He will use that to do all the planning. I'll show you all the different types of planning that a project manager needs to do. Then the project manager needs to make sure that the team members do the work, get the software done. Project manager will manage everything. Manage the time, manage the cost, manage the quality of the product, manage communication between stakeholders, manage the contracts. The project manager needs to manage and control everything. Finally, the project manager is the person who should close the project also. That's an important thing. Once you have done the software and once you have given it to the customer, the project is not finished, right? We need to formally close the project. That is also important. We need to make sure that the transition or we have given the authority to use the solution to our customers, right? As well as we need to make sure that we have trained the customers. Now we have come up with a recruitment system, but if the users don't know how to use it, that is of no value. The project manager needs to make sure that the users are trained on how to use the software, right? And finally, the project manager needs to make sure that even the software engineers their performance evaluation is done. You need to make sure that their performance evaluation is done. You need to make sure that they are released from the project. The software developers and the QA engineers need to be able to move to another project. They can't be in a project that is going on forever. They need to move to another project. So closing a project is also really important, and that needs to be done by a project manager. So project manager takes care of these things. Project manager will take care of the scope of the project, right? What do we mean by the scope? It is the boundary, right? It talks about the boundary of the project. Boundary means what is included in that software and what is not covered in that software, right? What are the features that are included in this project that we are going to do, and what will not be covered through this project. So the project manager needs to make sure that there's no scope overrun. or there's no scope creep. I'm assuming that you all might have studied this word, scope creep. Scope is creeping in or coming into the project. HR executives keep on giving requirements, and the size of the project increases. The project manager should make sure that that doesn't happen, right? So the project manager needs to make sure that he manages the scope, he manages the time. Like I said earlier, we have only 6 months to do the project. Project manager needs to make sure that everything is on track. Are we doing all these tasks on time? Are we getting all these features done on time? Are we behind schedule? If we are behind schedule, what do we need to do to bring it back to schedule? Can we do any parallel tasks? Can we do some tasks together? Can we hire some more resources to do this? Lots of decisions the project manager needs to take. Cost management. We are given a limited budget. If we can't do it within the limited budget, what do we need to do? We need to have a proper conversation with the stakeholders, telling them, look here, with the amount of money, we can't do it. Quality management, ensuring that the software is of highest quality. It's not just the responsibility of the QA engineers. Finally, it is the project manager who is accountable to make sure that the software product is of good quality. So they're making sure that quality planning, quality assurance, and quality control is properly done. Again, responsibility of the project manager. Like that, project manager needs to manage the risk involved in the project, manage the stakeholders, making sure that they are happy, making sure that they are informed and everything, managing the human resources, people who are working in the project, making sure that the software developers are happy, making sure that they are not stressed out, making sure that the developers are motivated, communications management, making sure that the communication among team members and the stakeholders is happening properly, making sure that the procurements in the sense, if we need to buy any resources, procure any services of another third party, making sure that these are done properly. All these things are responsibilities of a good project manager, right? Now, what you all will see is this project manager job is not easy, but it is actually a really good job. Project manager job is it's a really good job, because now if you are a person who's really interested in leading a team, if you are a leader, if you think that you are a leader, if you like leading other people, and if you like talking to other people, right? A project manager is a person who's right in the front. You get to talk to different levels of people, not just the developers who are doing the work, but to client stakeholders, to senior people. So project managers, the opportunities are really good. And if you are a person who likes that sort of a challenge, that sort of an environment, project manager jobs are really, really good and really interesting. Right. Now, there can be instances, there can be instances where this sort of thing will also happen. Now, Mr. Piris, HR head, will come and say, okay, we are now working on a recruitment component. We are working on a recruitment component. We are getting a recruitment platform, but that is not enough for me. I also need a performance evaluation component. I also need a grievance handling component, handling grievances of the employees, right? I want to evaluate the performance of the employees. I want to also look at training and development of the employees. Now, Mr. Piris is demanding. Mr. Piris is not satisfied with what he is getting. He is asking for more. Now, what the team will say is this. Let's run all these projects together as one single program. Right? So I'm talking about another concept over here. If I go back and show you all, can you all see all these components: grievance handling, performance evaluation, recruitment, training and development, all these things are related to human resource management, related to HR. Now what we'll do is we'll say, okay, we can run them together as one single program. Now let's see what the definition of a program is. A program is defined as a group of related, a program, let me minimize and take this up again. Yeah, so a program is defined as a group of related projects. This is the keyword, related projects. Now, if you all saw the previous slide also, recruitment, grievance handling, performance evaluation, all these are related to HR. You can manage all these related projects together as a program. Right? So it's a program is defined as a group of related projects, sub-programs, and other program activities managed in a coordinated manner to obtain benefits not available from managing them individually. This is also important. Now, if we look at the previous example, if we do the performance evaluation component separately, if we do the training and development component separately, if we do the recruitment component separately, what will happen is there's data from the recruitment component that can actually be used by these projects. Right? The people data, the data about the employees is actually here. Data about the employees is actually here. But if we do them in isolation, the people data will need to be copied here, will need to be created here, as well as created here. We are duplicating the data. Right? Now, what we want to do is, rather than running them as separate projects, we want to run them as one single project. One single large level initiative. Rather than running them individually as recruitment project, evaluation project, grievance handling project, we want to run them as a program. Right? We want to run them under one single program manager. So in addition to the project managers, we need another person now. This is like a senior project manager. Program managers are people who have been there longer. They have managed projects for a long period of time. They have more experience. So they are now senior project managers who are managing some other project managers. Now, just have a look at this. You see project manager 1 here and project manager 1 here also. Now, this is something that you all will need to get used to, or look forward to. What you all will need to look forward to if you want to become a project manager in the industry. It will not be only one project that you are managing at a time. You will be allocated multiple projects to manage. Right now, in your uni, you all are given only one project to execute. But what will happen in the industry is, most of the time, resources are limited. So you end up having to manage multiple projects. So a project manager can even end up managing multiple projects and be reporting to a program manager. Any questions from anyone? Okay, so I'll move forward. I'm going to talk about another classification. What is a portfolio? So just look at the definition. A portfolio may consist of. Okay, before that, now if I take the Sugatadasa Stadium example again, Sugatadasa Stadium consists of the ground area, the track area, and then the fans seating area where the spectators will be seated, areas like that, right? So you can run that as separate projects. Ground renovation can be one project. Track renovation, renovating the tracks, can be another project. And then renovating the stands or the spectators area can be another project, or a set of projects. each of these can be run as separate projects, but you can run them as one single program. So when all these projects are done, we can say that the Sugathadasa Stadium has been renovated properly. Right? Now, what is a portfolio? A portfolio may consist of other portfolios, projects, programs, and even other work. What it means is this. Just have a look at this example. We saw this earlier also, right? We have HR solution program. HR solution program consists of performance evaluation, training and development, grievance handling, and then recruitment. This is one program. Like that, there can be another program, right? So there's another program manager 2, who's looking into inventory management program, and inventory management program has separate projects, order fulfillment project, and then vendor evaluation project. Like that, so this is program 1, this is program 2. Like that, there can be separate projects also. Now the CEO wants a HR system as well as a inventory management system, as well as the CEO also wants the company website revamped. CEO is saying, okay, guys, we need to get the website also updated. We are giving more services now. Allocate another project manager to get the website also updated. In addition to that, there can be a large level initiative like this also happening. ISO 9001 certification. The company is looking at getting a certification also. Right? Now, a portfolio consists of programs, projects, other tasks, anything which are not related to another. Can all see? Okay, these things are related together. HR solution related together. These things are related together, but there's no relationship between these two. There's no relationship. They can be managed individually. But what will happen is, in the company, there will be someone called a portfolio manager that is allocated. Now, the portfolio manager is responsible for delivering all these programs and all these projects. Programs can be related and even not related. That's a portfolio, right? So it is like a situation where renovating the Sugathadasa Stadium. While renovating the Sugathadasa Stadium, we are renovating the Vihara Mahadevi Park also. And it is given to one single person to manage. So that's a portfolio. Portfolio for urban development. Maybe someone in the urban development will be given that portfolio. Is there any question about programs, projects, and portfolios? Okay, so I'll ask a quick question because I've been talking all the time. You all can use the chat and write down your answer. Looking at what you all saw just now, is there anyone who's interested to become a project manager? Is there anyone who's thinking, okay, this is interesting. I can actually think about becoming a project manager. Use the chat and just say yes or no. Okay, very good. I see some yeses coming up. Very good. So if I talk about me also, right? So I said that I started as a graphics designer, web developer, software engineer. Then why I moved into business analysis and into project management is because I'm a person who like to meet people and talk to people. I'm a person who like to solve problems that they're having. I wanted to lead a team. So that's why I moved into that area. So if you all are also interested in that, just think about that. I'll tell you all what you all need to do later on in terms of getting into a career in project management. So I'll quickly go through this. I know a few more slides only to go. Now, we looked at what we mean by a project, program, and portfolio. We have something called approaches to managing projects. approaches to managing projects. The two main approaches to manage a project is either plan-driven or change-driven. Plan-driven project management or change-driven project management, right? I'll give an example. Assume that we are planning to go on a trip. So we took that example initially itself. We are planning to go on a trip from Colombo to Nuwara, let's say. We are planning to go on a trip from Colombo to Nuwara, right? So we'll plan. We will say, okay, we will go on the trip on the 10th of June. We will leave at 7 o'clock in the morning. We will leave Colombo and we will all meet up near the at the Colombo Fort railway station. We will be meeting up at the Colombo Fort railway station. We will be going to Nuwara first of all in the train. We will take the train up to Nanue, right? And we are planning to reach this particular place by let's say 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And from there, we have a van that we have arranged. We have arranged a van to pick us from Nanue. And we were planning to go to Nuwara by, let's say, 1:30. Over here, what we have done is we have planned everything. Assume that our trip is a project. We have planned our entire trip. Even the food that we are going to eat, even the entertainment that we are going to have, even the place we are going to stay, everything is planned, right? Similarly, when we are executing a software project, also we can plan like this. We can create a really big plan upfront. The entire HR recruitment system can be planned, right? HR recruitment system can have different components of creating a job advertisement, creating a job description, calling applications, screening the applications. There are multiple components in the HR system. That HR recruitment system can be planned upfront. And we are planning that entire thing as one large initiative, one large thing. So we are planning for the entire 6 months. That's what we are doing. We are planning for the entire 6 months. And we are doing the work stage by stage. What it means, I'll explain to you all on the next slide when I show you all some plan-driven project management approaches, right? In plan-driven projects, changes are difficult. Now just think about this. We are planning to leave at 7 o'clock in the morning. The train needs to leave at 7:15. The train is leaving at 7:10, let's say. Now let's say we have missed the train. We missed the 7:10 train. It is hard to change, right? Okay, now what do we do? People end up panicking. There's no train until 11 o'clock in the afternoon. We have booked the place to be there by 1:30. Now what do? Do we need to take a bus? Doing a change in a plan-driven project is difficult. For that, we have change-driven projects. In today's world, in the industry, when you are coming to the industry, you all will see a lot of projects are run as change-driven projects. When I came to the industry and when I was working as a software developer and even as a BA in 2008-9, most of the projects were plan-driven. But today's world, most of the projects are change-driven, or in other words, agile. Most of the projects are run in an agile manner. What does agile mean? We do just enough planning upfront. What it means is something like this. We plan stage by stage. Okay, we'll plan how we are going to leave Colombo. That's the only plan that we make when we leave Colombo. When we come to Nanue only, we try to figure out, okay, how do we get to Nuwara? Right? Or along the way, when we are close to Nanue only, we decide, okay, what do we do now? How do we get to Nuwara? Right? So that's called doing just enough planning upfront. And we keep on planning small parts of the thing that we need to do. Now in our HR recruitment system also, first of all, we'll plan the job advertisements part. Sorry, job descriptions part. Then we'll plan the advertisements part. Then we will plan the calling CVs part. Then we will plan the screening part. Like that, we will break down the work that we need to do into smaller pieces, smaller parts, and we will create and deliver the software incrementally and iteratively. typically what happens in Agile is between 2 to 4 weeks time. Between 2 to 4 weeks time, we keep on delivering or creating and developing and delivering a software component, right? In Agile projects or in change-driven projects, changes are welcome. We are not worried, right? Even if we miss the 7:10 train, we are not worried. Okay, we have an alternative. We'll go on the bus. Even if we miss the breakfast somewhere, we don't have a problem. We have another way of satisfying that. We welcome change anytime in the project, in a change-driven project. So I'm showing you all some popular plan-driven and change-driven approaches. I'd like to know from you all, have you all learned waterfall? Yes or no? Can I see on the chat? Yes, you all have learned waterfall, right? Everything is done one after another. Requirements gathering, software design, coding, testing, and then deploying and maintaining the software is done one after another. So that's one way of doing the project using a plan-driven approach. Incremental, have you all studied incremental project management? Incremental projects? Yes or no? Okay, so I don't see any answers. I'm assuming that incremental you all are seeing for the first time. In incremental, what happens is we are doing requirements gathering upfront. We are doing some requirements gathering upfront, then analyzing the requirements, designing the component, coding, testing, and deployment is done in increments or in parts. So we create one part of the software here. This is like the job descriptions part. This is the job advertisement part. This is the CV handling part. We do it in increments, part by part. At the end of this increment, there's a working software product. There's a software product that is working, coded, and tested properly. That is incremental, right? Another alternative is iterative. We do it in an iterative manner. So we do some initial planning, then we plan for a small iteration, maybe of 1 month duration. We plan requirements, we do the requirements gathering, analyze, code, test, evaluate for 1 month. And we deploy that. Then we plan again do this, do the initial planning, we plan for the next 1 month, do something and then deploy it. Each month we are doing something and we are producing something. So this is iterative way of working. Each iteration we are doing some sort of improvement. Like that, we have some more plan-driven approaches. There are more, right? There are lots more. I have included only some examples. Rapid application development, RAD. RAD focuses on prototyping. So it's a rapid prototyping approach. You all know about prototyping, right, everyone? Have you all learned about prototyping, creating prototypes? Yes. Okay, so what happens in RAD is we want to focus on the design of the solution. We want to focus on how the solution will look like. So we will create a design, we will demonstrate it, we will refine it, and then we will develop it. We will keep on doing this for multiple prototyping rounds until we get to the best design of the solution. Once this is done, only we will develop and then we will test it. Finally, deploy the solution. There are multiple rapid prototyping cycles that happen till we finalize the design, then we develop it and we demonstrate and move forward. So that's RAD, rapid application development. Like that, we have spiral model. I will not go into detail of all 5 that I want to show. V model, there's another, it's another plan-driven project management approach. If you all, I'm sure you all have learned about these models. If you all have not, you all can have a look at them. What is commonly used are these 3 in the industry. And rapid application development, yes, to a certain extent, yes, it is used. most of the time what happens is in the industry now we use agile or change driven approaches. Popular approach is Scrum. Have you all learned Scrum? Yes. So I see some answers saying yes. So very good. Scrum is a popular way of agile working, working with agile. I would say in the industry more than 60-70% of the projects are run in a agile scrum manner, right? Scrum works, or agile works based on a combination of incremental and iterative, I&I. Agile is a combination of incremental and iterative. It's a mindset that you need to have. Mindset that you will work on short cycles on a small piece of work and get it done. We call it creating a potentially shippable increment. Now, I'll cover this over here as well. When you all are coming into the industry and if you all are looking at a career in project management, you all need to know agile. That's a must. And if you are looking at a project management role in an agile environment, the role in a Scrum environment is to become a Scrum Master. Scrum Master, right? So this is a popular role that is there now in the industry. And you can become a senior Scrum Master and then do Scrum Mastering in a larger context and so on. There are multiple avenues that are available here as well. Another change-driven approach is Kanban. Have you all learned about Kanban? Not much.
Sorry to disturb you, Ramesh. Can we check? Usually we try to finish the session exactly within an hour.
Okay.
So can you check with the students whether they are okay? Otherwise, I would like you to wrap up.
Yeah, okay, sure, no worries. Is everyone okay with me going for only 5 more minutes? Or we can wrap up. Okay for 5 more minutes. Okay, I'll quickly finish. Right, so I'm actually showing you all other ways of working in Agile. Kanban is another way of working. I won't go into detail because Kanban also has 6 principles, that 6 practices that can be followed. Just do a search about Kanban and you all can learn it. Dynamic software development methodology, that's another change-driven approach. Extreme programming, another change-driven approach. Like this, there are more than 25 change-driven approaches at team level as well as at scaled agile level. Scaling agile into larger companies. Now, if you take Wiley, where I'm working, we are practicing a scaled agile approach called SAFe. Right? So there are opportunities like this, even to work in a small company as a project manager or even in a large company. Right. This is actually the last slide. What is your career path? What is available for you all? What are the options available? If you are looking for a career directly in project management, you can move into a project coordinator role. Right. This is like a person who's directly coming out of university, who would like to play the project management role. Companies offer a project coordinator job. With no experience, you can become a project coordinator, right? Then you will start with associate project manager. This is like people with 1 to 2 and 1 to 3 years of experience. Project managers are people who have now played a project manager role for some time period, 2 to 5 years of experience. And then the number of years of experience increases. You can go up to becoming even the head of project management in a company, as well as you can even become a C-level person or a vice president in project management or whatever. Program manager, you can even become a program manager. If you join a large company like a bank or a telco company or whatever, you can even become a portfolio manager. In terms of qualifications, basic project management qualifications from PMI, you all can check this. Based on experience level, you can obtain qualifications from PMI. Plus, the most important are Scrum or Kanban related qualifications. So people go for something called Certified Scrum Master or Professional Scrum Master from two organizations called Scrum Alliance, and then I'll just put ALL, Scrum Alliance, and the other one is Scrum.org. These are the two popular organizations for basic Scrum certifications, right? Yeah, so that's what I wanted to cover. And even if you want, I actually moved up to about this level, these two levels, and then I moved into training and coaching. So you can even be a trainer or a coach like me. Any other questions from anyone? So I'll keep this slide. These are the contact details. You all can reach out to me, and if you all have any questions, you all can put it on the chat as well.